Have you ever considered the invisible, silent and entirely devoted presence that shadows your every step, day and night? We speak of our guardian angel, a gift so intimate, so constantly present, that we often forget the profound heavenly drama unfolding just beyond the veil of our human sight. We know they are there, of course, but what do they truly do? What sacred service do they perform when we are asleep, when our minds are shut off, and our souls are resting in vulnerable slumber? The great mystic and secretary of divine mercy, Saint Faustina Kowalska, was granted the rare privilege of seeing behind this veil. Through extraordinary visions and intimate locutions, Christ himself showed her the workings of the spiritual world, not just the boundless ocean of mercy, but also the duties, sorrows, and terrifying power wielded by the celestial beings who are bound to us until our final breath. These are not merely ancient stories or theological concepts. These are direct, mystical reports from the heavenly court. Tonight, we delve into the lesser-known passages of her private diary to uncover the specific, stunning revelations concerning your own heavenly protector. Faustina witnessed the precise ministry your angel carries out before the altar of God, the petitions they present on your behalf, and what happens in the terrifying moments when you wander furthest from the path. If you're new here, subscribe to stay connected with these sacred revelations. Prepare to learn what your guardian angel saw when you last closed your eyes, and why their constant vigilance carries a cost, a burden of profound, sorrowful care that Saint Faustina witnessed manifesting as tears in the courts of heaven. There is a profound mystery concerning the spiritual battles fought not just by us, but by those celestial beings who stand perpetually at our side, those pure spirits commissioned by the Almighty himself to guide our every step towards sanctity. We often think of our guardian angel as an impersonal shield, a silent protector, but the revelations granted to Saint Faustina reveal a personality brimming with tender, responsive love, a love so intimate that our every fault causes them visible, agonizing sorrow. The apostle of divine mercy was given a unique sight into the heavenly realm and the mechanics of spiritual guardianship. She was shown that the guardian angel, normally radiant with the pure light of God's presence, experiences a terrible transformation when the soul under their care embraces serious sin. This is the truth that pierces the heart. The angel weeps. Faustina realized that the spiritual darkness generated by a soul turning its back on grace is so repulsive to the angelic nature that the angel cannot bear to look directly upon it. The beauty of their heavenly form seems to dim, veiled by an immense grief. Imagine the shock of seeing your constant companion, who lives in eternal joy, suddenly shadowed by a sorrow deeper than any human despair. This is the reality of the guardian angel, when the soul willingly chooses mortal offense. Our angel is not merely disappointed, they are wounded by love. Their mission is to lead us home, but when we choose a path that plunges us into darkness, they must watch as the very essence of the soul they cherish becomes repulsive, taking on the hideous spiritual form of iniquity. It is a holy repugnance, born of light, meeting the deepest spiritual ugliness. The angel does not abandon us, never, but their manner of presence changes dramatically. They stand further back, their face turned away in an anguish of love, unable to communicate the sweetness of divine inspiration because the channel of grace has been blocked by our own willful choice. Saint Faustina's insight forces us to rethink how we approach our daily struggles with temptation. Our battles are not private affairs. They are witnessed by the purest, most compassionate being assigned to us. When we consider sin, we must also consider the profound pain we inflict upon this celestial friend who has never ceased to pray for us, who has never slept, and who lives only to lead us to the face of God. This revelation underscores the absolute seriousness of sin as an act of cosmic consequence. It doesn't just damage us, it pains the sacred heart of our protector and insults the divine majesty in their presence. How then can we console this faithful spirit? By an immediate and profound turning back to God. Our prompt repentance, our tears of sorrow in the sacrament of reconciliation, brings an immediate, overwhelming surge of joy to the angel. The veil of sadness is instantly lifted, and they become radiant once more, celebrating the return of the prodigal soul with a zeal that only heaven can know. The tears of the heavenly protector are therefore a silent, powerful call to vigilance and purity. a motivation rooted not in fear, but in sacred companionship. They remind us that true holiness is an act of love, extending even to the consolidation of those bright spirits who ceaselessly labor on our behalf. And these angels do far more than mourn our failings. They are active ministers, especially in those precious moments when our heart turns toward prayer. They serve as essential messengers, performing a critical role that few souls truly understand, even at the most sacred of moments: the holy sacrifice of the Mass. There is a profound mystery that few souls have contemplated. If our guardian angel protects us from darkness, what precious grace does he actively guide us toward? Saint Faustina revealed that this blessed spirit is not just a shield. He is our personal attendant, our royal usher, guiding the soul into the presence of the King himself, especially in the sacraments. We are so accustomed to seeing the angel as a sentry, standing guard against the snares of the enemy, that we forget his highest ministry is bringing us to the source of all holiness. Faustina was granted astonishing visions revealing the celestial protocol surrounding the tabernacle. She saw that the angels do not merely watch us, the faithful, they are completely absorbed in adoring the mystery of the Blessed Sacrament. Faustina realized that the atmosphere around the altar during the holy sacrifice is not just consecrated earth, but a thin veil separating earth and heaven. She recorded seeing countless angelic hosts surrounding the very place where the Lord descends. These spirits were bowed in profound ecstatic adoration, their reverence shaming her own often distracted human piety. This vision impressed upon her the intense, overwhelming sanctity of the Eucharist, confirming that when we approach the altar rail, we do so accompanied by the invisible court of heaven. But the angel's role is not passive worship, it is active preparation. He assists in purifying the soul before that moment of sacred union. Faustina was made aware of how her guardian angel silently works, stirring up acts of deeper contrition before confession, and cultivating intense longing and awe before communion. He yearns for us to receive the maximum measure of grace available in that physical encounter with Christ. When our hearts are sluggish or tainted by careless devotion, the angel gently inspires a final moment of humility, urging us to make room for the divine guest. She noted how this angelic usher accompanies us, step by sacred step, right up to the very moment we kneel to receive the host. The angel kneels with us. He rejoices with sublime intensity when the Creator unites himself to the creature. This is why our angel is so invested in the worthiness of our reception. He is witnessing the highest point of grace our soul can achieve on earth. Next time you prepare for Mass, remember this sacred secret revealed to the mystic of divine mercy. Whisper to your guardian angel, "Prepare me." Ask him to cloak your imperfect heart in the stainless reverence of heaven, to steady your steps, and to amplify the silence in your soul, so that you may worthily meet the gentle voice of the Lord you are about to receive. The angel desires nothing less than our perfect union with Jesus hidden in the sacred host. The interior life is not a constant, glorious ascent. There are days when the soul rests not in peace but in exhaustion. When the mind wanders, the heart feels dull, and the prayer we manage to mutter feels like a dry, insignificant crumb thrown toward the immense ocean of God's glory. We kneel, we try, but we leave prayer feeling defeated, convinced that such a meager, distracted offering could never reach the divine throne. This profound humility, born of the recognition of our own spiritual weakness, is precisely where the hidden, exquisite ministry of the guardian angel intervenes. Saint Faustina, whose eyes were so often open to the intimate workings of heaven, saw what happens to these imperfect petitions. She witnessed the angel not merely accompanying the soul, but acting as a refiner, a translator, and a celestial messenger dedicated to perfecting our poor efforts. She describes seeing these radiant spirits standing before the divine majesty, holding golden censers. In the mystical light of this vision, she understood that the smoke rising was the culmination of the prayers of the faithful. But here is the stunning secret. When our soul is spiritually weak, the angel takes our stumbling earthbound prayer, our distracted sigh, our half-formed desire, and places it within that sacred vessel. The angel then adds the heavenly incense, a divine fragrance of purity and perfect intention. This action sanctifies and purifies our petition. It is no longer just our meager attempt, but a prayer carried and perfected by a spirit of pure fire, ensuring that it is presented to God without the stains of our human frailty or distraction. Your guardian angel does not just passively transmit your words. When you're too tired, too afflicted, or too dry to pray worthily, they actively distill the true essence of your heart's longing, elevating its worth so that it is acceptable and pleasing to the Almighty. This revelation is an immense consolation for souls struggling with spiritual dryness. You should never despair over the dryness or the felt imperfection of your prayer life. Even when you rise from your knees, feeling that your words were useless, remember the unseen golden censer. Your angel has taken that seemingly poor offering, and out of pure love for God and for you, has ensured that the pure gold of your desire reaches the Father's ear. No sincere effort is wasted. No weary plea is forgotten. Your heavenly protector is tirelessly dedicated to ensuring that every yearning for holiness you attempt is delivered perfectly, ready to receive the outpouring of divine grace. And this perfection is needed most when the battle for our soul rages, especially at the critical moments when the forces of darkness press in upon us. We have spoken of the angel's tenderness, the unseen care given to us in the quiet moments of prayer and labor. But there is a fearsome, sacred duty that reveals the guardian angel not merely as a gentle guide, but as a fierce warrior ready for the ultimate defense of the soul entrusted to him. Saint Faustina was granted a sight so terrifying that it forever changed her perception of human mortality and the spiritual realm. She witnessed the death of a great sinner, and this experience pulled back the curtain on the final cataclysmic confrontation that few souls escape. She described how the moment the soul was about to be separated from the body, the enemy descended in massive, terrifying legions, ready to tear that soul away, flooding it with ultimate despair and doubt in God's goodness. The deathbed is the greatest battlefield, the moment when the devil knows his time is running out and unleashes his most violent attacks. The soul, weakened by illness and shocked by the sudden, vivid realization of its life's choices, is often paralyzed by terror and vulnerability. It is in this paralyzing moment that our heavenly protector takes his final, fiercest stand. Faustina watched, trembling, as the angel entered the fray, shielding the soul not with physical force, but with the impenetrable armor of divine mercy and grace. The angel fights the temptations of final despair, reminding the agonizing soul, even if only through an intense spiritual urging, that Christ's love is boundless and available until the very last breath. The angel's battle is agonizing because he fights for a freedom that the soul, in its panic, may choose to surrender to the enemy's lies. The true victory for the demonic forces is not possession after death, but convincing the dying soul to reject mercy in its final flicker of life. Our guardian angel throws every fiber of his being into preventing this ultimate tragedy. What is rarely recounted from this harrowing vision is the state of the angel after the immediate spiritual conflict subsided. Faustina noted that even after winning the defense and ushering the soul toward the particular judgment, the guardian angel showed visible relief and deep spiritual exertion, a sign of the immense effort expended in that moment of ultimate defense. It was a visual confirmation of the exhausting fidelity required to secure the soul's passage from the body, defending it against a legion of determined accusers. This revelation from the depths of the mystical life should instill in us not merely fear, but a profound gratitude and an urgency to cooperate with grace now. We must never take for granted the work our angel performs at the precipice of eternity. We must live in constant repentance, so that when our final hour arrives, our guardian angel is not overwhelmed fighting the despair born of habitual sin, but is ready to lead us, weary yet triumphant, toward the presence of the Lord. The angel's final stand is the highest proof of his selfless love and unyielding commitment to our eternal inheritance. We often imagine the service of our guardian angels in terms of gentle guidance, subtle inspirations, or whispers of grace, directing our conscience toward God. Yet, Saint Faustina was granted a harrowing, vivid look into their primary role as warriors, revealing that the defense they offer is sometimes terrifyingly immediate and physical, acting as an active shield against the forces of ruin. There are moments in the spiritual life when the enemy is permitted by God to test a soul with a fierce proximity, sometimes even seeking physical terror or harm to break the spirit. Faustina recounted one such terrifying night, documented in her diary, where her sanctuary was invaded. She saw a hideous dark figure, a creature of pure malice, materialize in her cell, manifesting tangible fear and threat, intending to wreak havoc and destroy her peace. In that moment of extreme vulnerability, when the human soul is gripped by a dread too profound for mere prayer, the mystical protection surrounding her was made visible. Immediately, her guardian angel stood between her and the menacing entity. Faustina witnessed this heavenly protector assume a stance not merely of spiritual light, but of unyielding, powerful defense. This angel was a true soldier, interposing his presence and authority, with a force that sent the demonic figure fleeing in an instant, leaving the chamber silent, purified, and secure. What does this profound revelation tell us about the deepest hours of our night? It confirms that the protection we receive is not a passive blessing whispered into the void, but an active, vigilant deployment of celestial might. When we are most helpless, when we surrender our consciousness to sleep, or when we are so oppressed by illness or trial that our will cannot fight, our invisible shield is awake and armed. Our angel stands guard over the Lord's property, defending not just the soul against temptation, but the body and the environment against tangible, hostile incursions meant to break us. We may rest secure, knowing that while we sleep, the vigil is kept by a power far mightier than any darkness that might prowl outside our doors. We have journeyed through the unseen reality granted to Saint Faustina, uncovering the sorrow, the vigilance, and the profound intercession of the spiritual being appointed uniquely to you. We realize that our angel does not merely stand by. He serves, he filters, he fights, and he guards your soul even when your body sleeps. These revelations lift the veil on a dimension of fierce, tender loyalty that should transform the way we approach both our prayer and our rest. Faustina was often struck by the absolute obedience and singular focus of these heavenly friends, understanding that their entire being is directed towards leading us into the divine will. In fact, she noted the secret to holiness revealed by the angel himself, writing that for a soul to ascend quickly, the greatest secret is the absolute submission of the will to God. What a tremendous gift of intimacy we have received today. This is not distant theology. This is your closest companion, a pure spirit whose sole purpose is to reflect the love of the Trinity toward you. Let us now cease to view our guardian angel as merely a quaint statue or a childhood prayer. He is a warrior of light, entrusted by God with the mission of securing your eternal destiny. Every night, as your soul attempts to gather strength in rest, remember that sacred vigil taking place by your bedside. Remember the whispered guidance that urges your heart away from trivialities and toward the eternal focus. To embrace this constant, unwavering friendship, for the Lord in His infinite mercy gave you not just a path, but a personal guide to walk it with you, ensuring that you never walk alone, even in the deepest, most silent shadows of the night. May we treat this divine appointment with the awe and reverence it deserves, trusting implicitly in the invisible shield that guards the treasure of our immortal soul until that final morning of eternal light. If you have truly felt the presence and protection of your heavenly companion, please comment below. Type, "My angel protects me,"